Hello everybody, welcome back for today's revision session on the kidney from the chapter Excretion in Humans. The kidneys are located in the back of the abdomen and have two important functions in the body. They regulate the water content in the blood, they excrete the toxic waste products of metabolism. The waste substances are mentioned in the diagram besides. Let's focus on the structure of a human kidney. When you take a closer look at the cross section of a human kidney, you'll notice the important organs such as the cortex, medulla, ureter, renal vein, renal artery. Each kidney contains around 1,000,000 tiny structures called nephrons, also known as kidney tubules or renal tubules. The nephrons start in the cortex of the kidney, loop down into the medulla and back up to the cortex. The contents of the nephrons drain into the innermost part of the kidney and the urine collects there before it flows into the ureter to be carried to the bladder for storage. Now let's discuss about ultrafiltration. Arterioles branch off the renal artery and lead to each nephron where they form a knot of capillaries sitting inside the cup-shaped Bowman's capsule, the glomerulus. The capillaries get narrower as they get further into the glomerulus, which increases the presence on the blood moving through them. This eventually causes the smaller molecules being carried in the blood to be forced out of the capillaries and into the Bowman's capsule, where they form what is known as the filtrate. And this process is known as ultrafiltration. The substances forced out of the capillaries are glucose, water, urea, salts. Some of these are useful and will be reabsorbed back into the blood further down the nephron. Reabsorption of glucose. After the glomerular filtrate enters the Bowman's capsule, glucose is the first substance to be reabsorbed at the proximal convoluted tubule, PCT. This takes place by active transport. The nephron is adapted for this by having many mitochondria to provide energy for the active transport of glucose molecules. Reabsorption of glucose cannot take place anywhere else in the nephron, as the gates that facilitate the active transport of glucose are only found in the PCT. In a person with normal blood glucose level, there are enough gates present to remove all of the glucose from the filtrate back into the blood. People with diabetes cannot control their blood glucose levels and they are often very high, meaning that not all of the glucose filtered out can be reabsorbed into the blood in the PCT. As there is nowhere else for the glucose to be reabsorbed, it continues in the filtrate and ends up in urine. And this is the reason why one of the first tests a doctor may do to check if someone is diabetic is to test their urine for the presence of glucose. Reabsorption of water and salts. As the filtrate drips through the loop of Henle, necessary salts are reabsorbed back into the blood by diffusion. As salts are reabsorbed back into the blood, water follows by osmosis. Water is also reabsorbed from the collecting duct in different amounts depending upon how much water the body needs at that time.